It's Wednesday night, midweek, live softball action. Softball SA Premier League, round 15. West Torrens versus Hills Heat. We're coming to you from magnificent Ghana lands. We're on the Adelaide Plains. West Beach in South Australia. Magnificent night for softball. Bit of cloud cover, not much wind, still a little bit warm. So ask me, it's perfect playing conditions. James Harris here alongside me, Anthony Weatherstone and Lee Hull. Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening, James and Anthony.
Good evening, Lee. Good evening, James. Good evening, everybody. So
we'll work that out for next time, guys. We'll go down the line, I reckon, but head-to-head between the Hills Heat and the West Torrens Eagles. It's all West Torrens so far this season, 4-0. I can tell you that they were all pretty tight as well. Nothing separating these two teams really, but in the last 5, well, West Torrens were sitting top at the break. They're 2-3 of their last 5. Hills Heat, no wins, 4 losses, 1 draw.
Yeah, absolutely. You can tell, I mean, the change that's happened in that batting average with Georgia Hood leaving the Heat has made a massive difference. They've dropped nearly 20 points from where they were previously. So, but as you can see, 2 pretty evenly matched teams.
High fielding percentages as well. So both teams are pretty good in the field. However, Hills Heat, West Torrens, a couple of changes from their regular starting lineups, wouldn't you say?
Yes, it certainly is, James, and I'm looking forward to full credit to Hills being able to put a side out this evening, you know. Short notice, they couldn't play a couple of weeks ago or a couple of games ago, but they're back, and this is a very important game for both teams.
Well, they're up and about. They've just finished their 5-minute diamond warm-up, and plenty of smiles all around. They're pretty happy, and they've got a mix of youth and experience tonight. There we can see Kelly O'Brien on screen. We won't say her age, but let's say that should be the senior player in the team tonight. And a pretty handy and reliable backup pitcher. She'll play at first base, but well, the coaches are about to have their meeting, so we might be able to talk of a couple of other key changes tonight. West Torrens ace, no Steph Trzynski tonight.
Yeah. No, and that gives the young players, I mentioned before, Harper Bridley a chance. You know, she's come all the way down from Port Pirie. I was talking to her father. He said nearly 3 hours to come down here. That's commitment, isn't it? So people like that deserve to get on and deserve to play as much as they can. And she gets the opportunity with Steph not being available.
Well, Sasha Penglace is on screen because Hills Heat have had to shuffle through a few pitches since the departure of Georgia Hood. She's absolutely killing it over in the States as well. And if you're watching Georgia, loving keeping up to date with your college career. But this is Sasha Penglace on the mound for the Hills Heat. I can tell you that Sasha Penglace has pitched in 4 games, about 11 innings. So she comes in, does a job, and then they look to replace to try and I don't know, maybe mix it up a little bit, see something different from the pitcher's circle every couple of innings.
Yep.
Yeah, we saw a little bit of that last week when we had talked about the changes that West Torrens and Sturt would both make when they brought their secondary pitchers on. And Georgia Hood on screen at the moment, batting 383 as the Eagles lead-off. Be looking for her to continue some good form against her former team.
I wouldn't mind betting that plate umpire Damien McCauley's going out to tell Sasha she can't pitch with that tape on her hand. Different colour to the ball, different colour to her uniform, different colour to her arm. So
excellent pickup by you, James.
This might change the dynamic of the game before we even get started. Plate umpire Damien McCauley, Softball SA Hall of Famer. Who else we got umpiring tonight, Lily?
We have at first base Brett Tyler, and at third we have Ian, One Shade of Grey.
You're going to have to work on Brett's nickname. I'm not sure it worked last week, but no, we'll give you a couple more weeks.
I'm sure I'll come up with something suitable.
So the trick for Torrens tonight will be to see whether or not they can make the adjustments that they needed to make against a different pitcher than Millie Fidge when they had Tash Straps on the mound. So tonight, obviously not facing Georgia Hood, who's obviously not here, as we've just talked about. I mean, some scary stats when you think about the difference of Georgia not being here. I mean, the Hills have used 7 pitchers so far this season, the most by any team in the league. But obviously, when you look at their things such as their strikeout counts, for example, so when George has been pitching, You know, she was over the 100 mark before she left. But for the other 6 pitches that the Hills have got, they've thrown collectively 13 strikeouts over 27 innings, which doesn't necessarily bode particularly well for them. It also means that their defence is seeing a lot more of the ball because they're
Puts
actually
a lot
having
of
to field
pressure
it.
on them, doesn't it?
So they obviously are in for a tough night. But that being said, it's an opportunity. It's a big game for them. Obviously, you know, they're in that race for the top 4 spot.
5 of those strikeouts coming from New South Wales. Visiting pitcher Charlie Orsini as well. Lee, let's quickly go around the diamond.
I will. At first base, Kelly O'Brien. Second base is Chloe Zachary. Third is Megan Williams. Danny Perez goes back to her old position, shortstop. Outfield from left to right, Maddie Rocha, Lara Tamke, and Erin Adams McDonald.
Georgia Ballard's catching to Sasha Panglace. Amber Hood's going to lead things off for the West Torrens Eagles. Here we go for the first pitch of the big clash this week, and it's big because the 2 teams are playing for positions in the top 4 and looking for finals advantages for if you're West Torrens, and a final spot if you're the Hills Heat. Second pitch drilled out to left field. That's Amber Hood. She's done it all season, and the Eagles are moving.
Yeah, just a great piece of batting by Amber straight off the bat. That's indicative of what her season's been like all year. She's done that many a time, so now it'll be very interesting to see how Eagles play this. Jackie Beale's come up the lineup. She's traditionally batting 9, but she moves into the number 2 spot tonight.
Stole my thunder there. The change has been made to the top of the order. We see Hood take off on the pitch. And, you know, the throw was, and the transition was okay from Ballard, maybe a little off target, but Hood slides in safely as she takes that advantage. Maybe that left-handed batter getting in the way of the catcher. This is Jackie Beale. She started the season at the 2 spot, had a little bit of trouble getting a batting average, went back to the position that she knows well, and that's down at 9, and the batting average started to go up straight away. So good challenge for her now. It's a good practice for come finals time, because West Torrens are in the finals. They will play in the finals, but it's just a matter of what position on the ladder. So
Yeah.
Bill needs to get her art perfected to go into the finals. A throw over.
That's an important. It's an important game for the Hills, as we've already talked about, trying to get into the 4. It's just as important for West Torrens, because a game like tonight, they drop tonight. Port Adelaide's only a game behind them, and then all of a sudden that double chance spot comes up for grabs.
Yeah, it puts pressure on, doesn't it, all
So
round?
I think you'll find the Eagles will be going for it.
Lana Kayser into the 3 spot into the batting liner. She takes the first pitch for a called strike. Well, West Torrens play Port Adelaide in a couple of weeks' time.
Yep.
So that might be a key game deciding second and third.
Yeah, absolutely.
But Eagles also play Sturt the week after that against Port Adelaide. So a couple of good weeks for West Torrens. They could be looking at minor premiership yet again.
Yep.
But they drop a couple, they'll move down to third.
Yeah.
Ground ball, Perez looks for the lead runner. Hood had given up because the ball was rocketed by Kayser, and a good play to play the lead runner.
Yeah, it's a bit of Eagles folklore there, never run into a tag. So, yeah, good fielding, stayed low, did the job, but the dangerous Sophie Hoyle comes to the plate. Runners at 1 and 2 and only the 1 out. So still big opportunity here for West Torrens.
Was a round belt high, and if you ask me, that's where Hoyle's most dangerous.
Yeah, it is, and I wouldn't throw that height again, not to Sophie. It'll go deep.
It's there to be hit again, maybe on the outside edge for Hoyle. She has taken a couple of pitches. That's not too bad. You like a batter early in the game to have a look at a couple. Good pitching from Penglace. Well, she gets under it a little. Out to Tamke at centre field for the Heat. Beale was tagging up, and she'll stand up at third. It was deep enough for both runners to advance. So Hoyle does her job, putting 2 runners in scoring position.
Yeah, that's great catch in the outfield. You can just see that ball. It's not that windy down here, but you can see that it was swirling around. She sort of moved in and around underneath it, but a great catch. Still advances the runner. And you can just see she runs back, and then she just makes a slight adjustment.
Good read from Tamke there on the leading team's replay. She backed back for that one. It was pretty deep. And
brings Kelsey Nucky to the plate, who since Christmas has actually been hitting the ball, especially on the left side of the field, really well.
I was just saying for Tamke, not bad for a third gamer.
Yeah, she was very good on the weekend too against the Cats. She was very busy.
We're back and forth here like a tennis match. Nucky hitting 250 on the season. Ever reliable and works hard in the batting tunnels as well.
Yep.
So she's looking for some reward for effort here. High for a ball.
It's a bit of a different look too with Walkerville when they came out against La Rosa from the Heat on the weekend. They were very aggressive. They were after them early in the count. West Torrens taking a much more disciplined approach tonight, trying to make sure that they're still hitting good pitches and forcing the pitchers to throw. So bases loaded, 2 out.
It looks more like the old West Torrens lineup, doesn't it, to me? And you talked about Jackie Bill, but a lot of people can play batted position 2 or 9. That seems to be because they've got leg speed. So they're alternate, like Rachel Tonkin. There's a classic case.
I like the idea of the right, left, right too. Just don't let the pitcher settle, especially when you're thrown in the heart of your lineup.
You got to break it. You got to break the rhythm of the pitcher for sure.
So Baski's moved up the lineup as well tonight. She's moved up into Nucky's spot of 5 recently. So
playing DP tonight, hitting for Harper Bridley. I like that. She likes to call the strike zone nice and early. It means that she's seeing it out of the hand very well.
Well, this is her count right here. So
goes opposite field. It's in the centre right alley. 2 runs will score. Nucky gets to third. Getting the way through from Scott. She'll push for home. 3-run score from a Baskai double. And the Eagles are on the board.
Wow, what a shot. That's a great piece of batting.
Leading team's replay.
Yeah,
she hit that well in the alley.
Yeah, she smashed that. That's great power. But most importantly, as Lee would say, got to put it on the green. Not only that, she put it in the green right between centre and right. So as soon as you could see that ball was going to land there, you knew that a couple were going to score. That's great team batting coming from a 6.
This is Borovnik.
Yeah, I touched on that about the batting. It looks, and you've also got the opportunity of putting Steph in there up in the top part, top 3 or 4. And so it just looks a different West Torrens lineup to me tonight, batting wise.
Yeah. As I was just saying, like it's the difference without Hood in the side. You know, this defense is just forcibly
pulls an outside pitch, and Megan Williams, gee, that rocket arm from third did not have to move at first base. Kelly O'Brien for the 3rd out.
That's a great start by West Torrens, exactly what Coach Scott would be looking for. Early runs, early scoreboard pressure. But I think more importantly, what he'd be happy with was the quality of that bat. So nobody seemed to sort of panic and sort of just go early in the count for the sake of it. They all went through and found a good pitch. Nucky picked up a walk, so even in a hitting position. So a very positive start for West Torrens. But now pressure's on the Hills to react, and they're going to have to do it early because this game could get away from them real quick.
Yeah, that was a highest score for West Torrens in 4 games is 3 runs. So you have to go back 4 games to their 6-0 win over Walkerville. So they'll be happy to put 3 on the board early.
The last 5 games they've only scored 12, which by a side that was sitting top until Christmas, you would sort of expect those numbers to be much higher. Whilst defensively they've given up 16, which is very uncharacteristic of West Torrens. So, yeah, early runs definitely going to give their pitching staff something to throw at.
Obviously done his homework tonight, Lee. Yeah. Go around the West, make your point and then take us around the West Torrens diamond.
Just a point about Jackie Bill. And by Jackie batting it too, it breaks up the big hitting people. You know, it just gives you a bit of difference there. Okay, around the diamond. I'll get the right page. I have it now, good boy. Kelsey Nucky at first, Amber Hood at second, Sophie Hoyle at third, Lana Kaiser at short. Outfield, left field, Brodie Brovnik, centre field, Jackie Bill, and at right field, Mary Fuss. Danny Vasco, as we mentioned, and we've seen her hitting with that good shot. She's the DP.
So just talking about the runs scored since Christmas, so the Hills have only scored 5 runs in their 4 games since Christmas, which, to be honest, they've only scored 1 run against West Torrens all season in the 4 games that they've played previously. So obviously Steph's pitched a few of those games. Harper did pick up a couple of wins as well, though. So big challenge here tonight, but at the same stage, West Torrens are still going to need to be switched on defensively.
Yeah, Sasha Penglace is going to lead things off for the Hills heat. Big roll tonight. She's in 256.
Yeah, I mean, the Hills batting average 282, minus Georgia drops down to 264. So it's a big difference, but where it really affects them is their on-base percentage. It drops from 346, drops all the way down to 306.
It's a double whammy without George there, isn't it?
Yeah, so not only is she batting in those runs and scoring and so on, but it's also just being scored as well. So the Hills have had to make a lot of changes to cover those things, which is a really tough ask. So, and they're doing a great job. They're going to need to do an amazing job tonight to keep their season alive.
Behind in the count, so Bridley's done well. And Penglace up to the task on that one, fouling it off. One ball, 2 strikes. Really crouched down in that position, so she change her eye level as she stands up tall. Fouls that one off.
It's good fighting that bat, though. You want your lead-off to go out, especially at the start of a game, and make a strong fight of it, and she's doing that so far.
And still fighting for a 4th foul in the at-bat. Piece of the ball that goes right side. Amber Hood there, and does the fielding over to Nucky for the first out.
Yeah, Amber stayed low, which was important, especially obviously with the diamond having some rain today, but seems to have come up a treat. Must have been some of the impressive rake work done by the chief executive just before the game.
Well, I can tell you the diamond plays better with the right amount of moisture, and so the rain today was a blessing. Georgia Ballard, batter in the box. Fouls it, oh no, hits it off the plate, goes into fair territory. And Harper Bridley just takes it back casually over to first base for the second out. Yeah, that tricked me. Have a look at the leading team's replay. She'll chop it straight down onto the plate.
Yeah, she did too. Yeah, right. Came off at the right angle for her, that's good.
Right angle for Harper.
That's right.
Maybe not for,
sorry for the hitter.
Ballard. Megan Williams goes up to the 3 spot.
Yeah, she's been good. She's one of the players that has lifted her numbers, especially since George has gone. So
308 batting average with 11 RBIs, leading the team, tied with Georgia Hood. So that's pretty impressive numbers when you're tying a batting offensive category with Georgia Hood.
Been a good buyer for a long time, Megan, hasn't she, when she played for Seagam?
Now, it took Georgia Hood 16 games to get those 11 RBIs. I think she's played 7 games at college. She's got 22 RBIs already. That's enough about Georgia. We could talk about her all night. I could anyway. So Megan Williams in the box here. And just continuing on the great tradition of regional players that Softball SA produces. Harper Bridley makes the trip from Port Pirie, as we mentioned earlier in the program. But this is the first time I've seen her play on a Wednesday. Chops at it, goes foul.
Yeah, I confess driving down here tonight, I wasn't expecting that, knowing obviously the trip that she's got to make. And I've only seen her sort of live in this situation up close once before, but she's been very impressive, especially for somebody of her age. And you can see there's definitely a future in front of her.
Well, just places the bat there to keep herself alive, gives herself a chance, but Hood does the fielding yet again. Great start from Amber Hood. A hit in the top of the first and 2 great defensive plays. 3 up, 3 down. Yeah, the important thing for young players there, you notice that a slow roller that Amber came down to the ball, and that was what made the difference in getting the out. So good defence by the Eagles, good positive start. So now they just want to build on that momentum of a strong first innings.
Yeah, excellent point by you. You play at second base especially and shortstop. The ball's not travelling fast. You've got to go to it. Yeah,
and as James said, a little bit of moisture in the actual diamond. It does look a little bit more level. Sometimes some of the players, I remember Steph Collette a couple of weeks ago on that Wednesday night game. I mean, the ball was bouncing at right angles towards her, you know. So hopefully tonight it'll be a bit more of a truer bounce.
The idea is to, when you're playing shortstop, is to cut out as many bounces as you can.
Yeah.
Well, just about to get started here for the top of the second inning. West Torrens down to their 8-hitter already. Their scorecard looks a little bit more colourful than the Hills Heat at this stage, with those 3 runs highlighted by Amber Hood's leadoff single and Danny Baskai's 3-run double.
Yeah, she had good numbers, but since Christmas I hadn't seen her you know, in that type of scoring situation do that, and that's the first time I've seen that since Christmas. And you can see the quality she brings that part of the order. So just to jump up from 7 to 5 and fulfill that role with a double that scores 3, huge.
Carly Allen hitting .310 for the season, and I would say that those numbers would be a little higher after Christmas, because she has done it again. A shot up the middle and the lead off a board for the Eagles, leading
very
to a
good player to bat at number 8, I would think.
And in the past games that they've played, Torrens and Hills, Fuss has got a couple of hits, and she's at the plate right now as the number 9.
Allen at first. Fuss shows bunt. Gets it down, straight back to Penglace. She goes for the lead runner, out by a step. So great play from Penglace. Good heads up defense from the Hills Heat, getting in all the right positions and firing it across for the first out.
That's a good job by Mary. She's is at the top of the zone, and she didn't sort of get underneath it, which can create more trouble.
Did the job, gave Carly a chance to run.
Yeah. Back to the top of the lineup with Georgia Hood.
Even Amber.
Amber Hood, sorry.
That's all right, mate.
I've been watching too many college replays in the last week.
Amber's just killing it this season, a 508 on-base percentage. But when she gets on, she scores.
Yep.
20% of their runs, just insane. For a lead-off, that's just they're big numbers.
Bit like Ada Caruana, the Sturt, very good player for Sturt. Not playing this year, of course, but when she gets on, she normally invariably scores. So they're dangerous people to put on.
Definitely noticing tonight, West Torrens are really working these counts. They're really looking for the right pitch to make sure that when they're putting the ball into play, it's into space, which has been great discipline so far.
And conversely, the pitcher, Sasha, needs to pitch very carefully to some of these batters.
Yeah.
High for a ball. I'd like to see Amber's numbers, hits with 2 strikes, She does a lot with that bat with 2 strikes, doesn't she? It's right up the top of the zone, maybe even above the zone. Then she brings it back, re-grips her handle all the way behind her head, rushes it, but crushes it this time, deep to the fence, over the head of Lamke.
Run, Mary. She's
Mary gets to third, is held up. The throw goes to 3. And Amber Hood, a double with 2 strikes. Maybe unorthodox, but it worked.
Oh, don't know what more to say about her. I mean, just watching somebody have a great year. High pitch, but she's just gone with it. Centrefield couldn't have been much in a better spot than that. There's not much you can do about that.
No,
That's just
the reason you can bat well with 2 strikes on you is if you have supreme confidence in your own ability, and she has. And we've seen it. That's
First
more
pitch
like
swing,
Jackie.
pulls it to the right side. You normally score, you normally score on an infield ground to the right side when you're running from third. Missed opportunity for the Eagles, or as Brad Hodge would say, missed a trick there, the Eagles. But great play at second base by Chloe Zackley. She was quick to move. She goes glove side, gets it across to Kelly O'Brien, doesn't waste any time, saves her team a run.
Well, if you're a coach, you've just asked Bill to do exactly that, and she's done that to score a run. So, yeah, hopefully a lesson for the young girl at third.
Well, Kaiser's now got 2 out and 2 runners in scoring position.
Grounded out to shortstop last time, but it was a powerful shot. So
she'll go deep here. That was a good pitch.
Yeah, and as Anthony said earlier, like, Eagles are working the counts here tonight.
Yep. Make the pitcher throw a lot of pitches.
Opposite side. Adams McDonald has to get a read on it and takes a great catch.
Yeah.
I thought she was short, maybe 1 or 2 steps. It would have scored 2. Yeah. Kaiser actually got to third. It went so high. Let's have a look at the leading team's replay.
Yeah, out in front of that one. High again, but some great fielding at right field. She didn't get quite underneath it.
She claimed it as well.
But she claimed it. She wanted to make sure everybody knew. And when you take a catch like that probably saves 2 runs, you can probably put your hand up and show the crowd.
What a terrific catch from the 15-year-old out at right field for the Hills Heat. Erin Adams McDonald, a name to remember. Well, that's better defense from the Hills Heat.
Yeah.
They got a lead runner on a bunt opportunity. Took a great 2-run saving catch just then, and good defense by their young second baser, Chloe Zackley, as well. So excellent.
Should take a lot of heart from the green team.
Yeah, and Sasha will feel better in the sense that she knows that the girls around her are definitely have shown up tonight, but what she really needs is this batting lineup to give her something to play with. So, as I said, they've only scored the 1 run in 4 games against Torrens throughout the whole year. So. And then when you take Georgia's numbers out of it, it's a tough ask for a very young side that's under pressure. But sometimes, I think I've said it before in the coverage, sometimes the young players come to these games, they don't know too much about where the ladder is, who they're playing, what's the history behind it, and they just play the game for what it is, and they can come up with some amazing results. So let's hopefully the Hills can do that.
Come with a clear head, don't they?
We're up to hitter number 4. So the middle of the order for the Hills Heat. We'll see Perez, Zackley, Adams, McDonald.
Had a good shot in the weekend, Perez, to score a run, so.
It's a good piece of this. Jackie Beale looks very comfortable out there at centre field, takes a good catch for the first out.
Yeah, that was Maddie Cameron. She made that look very, very simple, and it wouldn't have been. So
she's quick on her feet, Jackie. Yeah. Like Maddie, of course.
But a good piece of the ball. That's definitely going to be positive, hopefully, for the players coming up, seeing that's capable of doing that.
Oh, exactly. Shows bunt, running bunt. Bridley's onto it pretty quick and fires it across to Hood for the second out. Great defense. The potential teammates in the under-16 age group, possibly for the state side, to be announced in the next couple of, next week or so, I'd say. Here's another one that's in contention for that age group. Bridley as well in contention for under-18s.
Yeah, good. I mean, it was a good bunt by the player before. Exactly. But I just a bit concerned. You know, I can see what Coach Richardson's trying to do. She's trying to put the ball into play and force them to come up. But what the Hills don't need right now is a quick turn in defence and putting the West Torrens offence straight back in. They've obviously Harper's, you know, a strong pitcher here, but you can't sort of let it get on top. So got to try and find some pitches, find some good shots. Perez has just had a great shot up the middle. So
Adams McDonald fouls this one off, and
you're chasing 3. I mean, you might need to put a little bit of that short stuff away until a pitcher was completely dominant, and just try and back your hitters to try and bat you through it.
Get back one at a time.
good leave, low in the zone. I was saying Adams McDonald got that double on right here on Spacequake Sports on Saturday. It was a great shot, flew over the head of the centre fielder, and that'll be a first Premier League hit to remember.
Yeah.
And what's our cameraman?
Oh, 0.
Just waves that one off. Thumbs up.
Thumbs up. He's
Beautiful
good.
from the team at Spacequake Sports. Let's have a look at the leading team's replay.
Yeah.
David Nobleton's just checking on him. David's taking some photos out there.
I think he's checking on the camera.
Is he?
This is a much better at bat here. You know, taking a big count here, giving the defence for the Hills some time to recover.
Great shot to the right side. Forces a chance here to rob her of a hit, but great shot. She deserved a hit, and Adams McDonald on board. That's the first hit and the first runner aboard for the Hills Heat.
Yeah, wow. What a shot. And I think, as I said, that's got to be sort of the bit of the Hills mantra for the night. I mean, they're going to have to just hit good pitches.
Yep. What I liked about that is it was an outside pitch that she drove opposite field. For a young player, that's a terrific skill to have.
Oh, absolutely. So many times you see them trying to drag those outside pitches back through the left side and sort of wonder why it just, you know, rolls down the third base side. Yeah, so that's a great piece of batting, especially for somebody so young.
Here's Kel O'Brien up to bat for the Heat. Fouls that one off.
Were you saying before, Lee, that's her age on the back of the uniform? Is it 19?
She'll be happy with that. Voice of an angel.
No, I'm not in the habit of telling lies. Thank you, Anthony.
Yep. Even Kylie said to me on the weekend, she goes, is that who I think it is? Oh, absolutely.
I know how old she is, and she's pretty much a spring chicken compared with some of us.
Good batting.
High pitch out of the zone. We saw a couple years back playing for the Hills Heat when Georgia was only able to come up for Saturday games, making the trip from Gambia. This one's hit into foul territory, and she was tough to get away. She was really holding her own, and part of the Hills' success early, their first season they made finals, second year they didn't, but you know, and last year they actually made the grand final, and she's been part of that. She's been part of the Hills Heat team since early days.
I think she came in and pitched on the weekend just at the end.
Just jammed up. It's going to drop in. She might beat this out for an infield single, Kelly O'Brien.
She'll take that, Kel.
Yeah.
As you would.
Yeah.
Leading team's replay. It's actually no man's land. If you have a look there, none of the fielders could have got to it, so she couldn't have hoped for a better result.
She's brought her experience. She's found some space behind the pitcher, and she's put it there. So,
8-hitter, Lara Temke. Back-to-back hits from hitters 6 and 7. Temke's playing centre field tonight.
Perez also had that deep shot to start the innings off, so good signs here for the Heat. You know, the bump probably wasn't the right play at that particular time, but if they can keep this up all night, they'll do what they did against Walkerville, which was come back in the end on Saturday. Even though they lost,
Well, Bridley gets her first strikeout of the game, so she retired the first 2 in the inning, gave up 2 very good hits. In particular, Adams McDonald shot to the right side and then strikes out Temke for the third out.
Yeah, good signs for the Hills there. So, be interesting to see if West Torrens can maintain the disciplined approach to hit good pitches and put that ball into space and score some runs. So
yeah, when you get 2 or 3 up, you tend a lot of times, don't you?
Cue in the rack a bit.
Yeah, cue in the rack, or you go chasing pitches, thinking this is getting easier and easier.
Yeah,
you know, and sometimes it's not.
And James, I just wanted to point out too. I know that I've obviously made point of some of the Hills numbers without Georgia. There's another player that started the season and also.
A cameraman's
got some protection.
Kitted out with a glove now.
Just wanted to make sure that you didn't think that I'd forgotten about Jordan. So the Eagles' average dropped from 262 to 260 upon Jordan sort of coming out of the lineup. So
fair drop.
There is, everything's in perspective.
Yeah.
Not bad, a 333 season average when you're playing pregnant. Well, we have seen a pitching change from the Hills heat. We've gone through the lineup once with Penglace, and now the change is made. Kelly O'Brien comes across from first to pitch. Sasha Penglace moves over to first.
Yeah, I think Amber and Lana's last at-bats might have brought this forward maybe an innings or two.
Erin Amber Adams McDonald comes out, and Mackenzie Ween comes in. To right field,
terrific to see Mackenzie Ween back. She's missed this entire season through injury. I think she's had a couple of appearances, but like very rare. But interesting that they've taken out Adams McDonald. She got made a terrific catch last inning to end the inning with 2 runners on board, and then she got that shot. So is she hurt? Maybe, not sure. But great to see Mackenzie Ween back for the Hills heat. Well, to lead off the top of the 3rd inning for the West Torrens Eagles is Sophie Hoyle. Hoyle's numbers always impressive. 313, 19 RBIs, 6 extra base hits on the season.
She's part of that very strong run-scoring machine that's her and Steph Trzynski, which, scoring nearly half of the runs, batting them in. So different role for her tonight a little bit. Definitely here, just leading this innings off in the 3rd.
Crosses it just out of reach of Perez. Well taken by Rocha at left field, but Hoyle takes it on. She slides in under the tag. Just the positioning for young Zackley. She needed to field the ball first, but if the throw was on the spot, there may have been a play there. So great heads-up running from Hoyle. Let's have a look at it on the leading team's replay. Yeah,
great piece of the ball. Hit so hard that Perez couldn't even get across to it. Throw comes in. Hoyle had already made up her mind early that she was coming in for that.
And Zackley was just off the base, wasn't she?
Good try, Chloe.
Need to let that ball travel.
Yep. It's definitely a young Hills team out there tonight. You can just see a couple of these little things creeping into the game. So
that's the 3rd extra base hit for the Eagles tonight. Gets away from the catcher. Ballard, Hoyle trots across to 3rd. So runner now truly in scoring position here for Kelsey Nucky, who had a walk her first turn.
She's done well this season, hasn't she, Georgia Ballard? Come in replacing Amber Hood, who went to West Torrens. Did the catching to George.
You don't want to pitch it there to Nucky. She was a little early on it, and just the ball sailed.
To quote you, James, that's her wheelhouse, whatever that means.
So top 3, Eagles none out, a runner at 3rd.
The thing is, when you get good piece of the ball, even though it goes foul, you get a lot of confidence.
Yeah.
Don't you? You think, I'll punish this.
She goes dead center. Hoyle tags up, Tanky under it, takes a couple of steps before she gets the throw off, and sacrifice fly for Nucky and RBI. That's the 4th run of the game for the Eagles.
Yeah, great team batting. So Hoyle's aggressive lead off and aggressive base runnings put him into a positive spot. The pass ball mistake gets her to 3rd. fielder's got in the right position.
Yeah, the young centre fielder probably needed to back a couple of steps so she could take the catch on the run, get that throw off a little quicker. No better example of that than Maddie Cameron.
Yeah.
Well, this is Baskai, and she's red hot tonight, playing in the DP spot. 3 RBIs off her double in the first inning.
Yeah, and so far they've maintained the discipline. They've sort of kept to the game plan that they seem to be to applying here tonight. So it's served them well.
I tell you what, the Eagles, when they're confident, when they're playing with confidence, they've got some big hitters. We saw that against the game against Sturt prior to Christmas. 9-2, they were big shots.
Well, it gets under it and you heard a groan in her follow through. It's going to land safely and she'll get another life. Big hitters lead. They've already got 5 hits on the night, a sacrifice fly, and a couple of walks. We're only 1.5 times through the lineup.
Yep.
What were you saying before the game, Lee? You know, like still coming into the end of the year, still if those bats fire, it can be a deep lineup.
Well, they're still my pick for the flag.
West Torrens started the season 1-2, I think, and then went about decimating the entire competition, and at one stage 13 in a row, I think, went into the break, top of the table. Their runs for were huge, and that was a team that stumbled out of the starting blocks.
Yeah, I mean, they score 5 a game on average, and they give up 2.4.
Yep.
You know, the Hills coming down here, they score 3.8 on average, and they give up 3.2. So, pretty handy when you're scoring 5 on average.
Yes, you made a good point. As I've said many times before, that when the Eagles are going at their best, 2 runs is the maximum you'll probably get from them, maximum. And their batters can get 2 quite easily.
Yeah, confidence is the important thing.
Of course, yeah, it's the same with your workplace, you know. If you're confident in the work you do, you're going to be successful at it.
Brovnik gets up to the first 2, fouling them off.
She's been handy since Christmas. She's been in a lot of their plays.
Leading team's replay of this foul ball. It was close.
Yep.
I think Williams had it covered, though.
Yeah, I think just another step. Oh, she waited on that well, though.
Ground ball to Perez, goes to the lead runner. Zackley has to stretch, and at the last minute on the tippy toes, Baskai will arrive safely to 2. Let's have a look at that on the leading team's replay.
Yeah, stayed low, but just ball bobbled, and the throw's just wide enough.
Yep.
Well, Zackley was on the back of the base as well.
I was about to say she was looked like she was on the outside of the.
That's not bad if you're following through the base, because that's the way you want to play that and get that throw off for the second play. But she just stayed there. It was like she was stuck in the mud a little bit, and well, a little bit of luck for the Eagles. 2 runners aboard for Allen. She got a hit last inning.
Yeah, up the middle.
O'Brien plays the lead runner. Gets it across to Williams for the second out. Fielder's choice in the scorebook, and we'll see a courtesy runner come in for Carly Allen. It's Kelsey Nucky. So fielder's choice to the pitcher.
Kelsey would have said that she would have been the obvious choice.
Played the lead runner, so Baskai forced out.
Now, it's important here, the right fielder, it's Mackenzie, I think. He should be in close here. She can't afford this ball to be hit in the air and land on the green, because the runner at second will score.
Fouls that one off. So Fuss, who tried this sacrifice bunt her first time. There's Mackenzie Ween. Hello, Mackenzie. Out at right field. Fuss attempted the bunt. Her first turn at bat. She's swinging away here. Gets a lot of this. It's in the gap. Gee, Borovnik was out of the blocks quickly there. Nucky's going to try and run 3 bases for the second time in this game. She scores from first as the courtesy runner this time round. 2-run score off a double to Fuss.
Can't do much about that. Just chase the ball.
Yeah, good piece of the ball by the number 9 into space.
Your Tamke tried to cut it off, but in the end, she got in front of it, so runners could get extra bases off that. So just, a couple of things for these young players. If you're going to be aggressive on it, maybe get behind the ball first or foremost, or you got to throw your body at it. And,
the throw didn't look like it was ever going to get near a cut-off, so... but I think we talked about this a couple of weeks ago, those lower order hitters, the 8s, the 9s and so on, how important that role is for Sturt coming back through the top of their line. And here we are in a 2-out.
Hard hit shot past the glove of Williams. It comes off the glove and Hood will round first. I can see the green pen from one of our expert statisticians, Julie Priest and Jill Williams, on the pens tonight. Green pen, so rewarding the hitter there, come off like a rocket. Let's have a look at the leading team's replay.
Yeah, I was just going to say how dangerous it is to bring the top of the lineup back, and Amber's just, again, continued to prove that with how hard she's just hit that ball through third.
Hills have got to shut them down now, right now.
Well, interestingly here, 2 out, runners at 1 and 3. You've got the super fast Amber, and, you haven't got Georgia Hood in the middle throwing at 100 k an hour, so... be interesting to see if they try and engineer something here. Good opportunity to practice.
They will with Jackie. So second base, Chloe needs to come in a lot closer than that.
Perez has.
Yeah. Chloe's got to come in. Because if she goes that side of the diamond, it'll just dribble out there. Yeah. And this run will score.
Beal on the move, but looks like she's trying to get it down for a bunt. There is 2 out, but the runners are at the corners. So surprised to see Amber Hood, who leads the competition in stolen bases with 9.
Very surprised.
Just staying there at 1. If you're going to bunt, you're still going to be stealing, right?
Yeah. I mean, you saw this play rarely. You don't see it happen too often, but on the weekend, Chelsea Robertson did a great piece of running on the third base line in Walkerville, had a 1-3 split like this, and she scored.
Well, we're up to batter number 9 for this inning. Eagles have 3 hits and 2 walks.
I tell you what, Jackie looks much better batting at 2 spot, doesn't she, tonight? I personally think it's her spot, the bat.
Runner advances to second to load him up. Fuss on third. Hood on 2. Massive lead as well. She really is looking to score from there. Jackie Beal on first. So wheels on bases. A long ball's really going to put the first nail in the coffin here for the Hills Heat. So they've got to do what they can here.
Yeah, you got a power hitter at the plate too. So anything that's close is gone here.
Just need to catch the ball that's hit deep here.
Catches the outside edge.
It's the second time she's had that one on the outside. Not entirely happy about it either, I think. So
she's smiling. She'll just shake that off.
Oh, absolutely. She'll be on to the next one already.
And put a motor on the next pitch. Like that.
She gets a fair piece of it. It's Tamke at centre field. She gets under it to take the catch and retire the threat just as the full moon starting to appear from the eastern horizon as the West Torrens Eagles threat is ended, but they did score another 3 to double their lead. They go from 3 runs to 6 runs. It is the middle of the order of the inning now, so the Hills get that chance to respond.
Yeah, interesting innings. We, probably were expecting to see some different things happen, but still West Torrens showing the discipline in their at-bats, which has been important and has got them into the position that they are. Hills' last innings definitely showed some fight, with Perez's early shot and a couple of good shots on the right side of the diamond. So to at least try and put some pressure back on the West Torrens to show that they're not out of it. They need to answer. So.
Well, the dominance of the Eagles tonight, 21 plate appearances to 8 so far. Got a couple of changes, I think. Let's listen into our Hall of Fame umpire, Damien McCauley. Alicia marching. There it is. I mentioned it just before. Looks like a massive softball out there at deep left field.
I was just thinking the same thing. It's like...
She replaces Brodie Brovnik at left field. Alicia.
She'll be getting a bat next innings.
Maddie Rocha, 9-hitter. Her first plate appearance. It was the 9-hitter for the Eagles. They put a charge into one to score 2. Just at the top half of this inning, Mary Fuss. Rocha, ground ball to third. Hoyle gloves it, spins, pirouettes.
Showtime.
And she's having a word to the dugout as well.
Yeah.
I think they all like that one. Let's look at the leading team's replay. Wow.
That's
great choreography. I'm looking forward to this angle.
Yeah.
I've got a message for Sophie. Wait for the music before you start dancing.
Just with the momentum,
yeah, it was.
Fires it across and hits the spot as well. First base Nucky didn't have to move. That's the first out.
Yeah, in her defence, I mean, she has actually done the right thing. I mean, to have to turn back around the other way, she would have had to run a couple more steps. So it might have looked flashy, but it was quality. So it was good fielding.
I like how she goes to that glove side. Is so reliable, ever reliable, and that throw was great as well. The play from Hoyle. Foul ball. This is Sasha Penglis back to the top of the order.
I think that's a fair call about Sophie James, and I think that's her spot, third base.
Yeah, she's definitely got that natural look of that position.
And look how Lana's settled into shortstop.
Yeah.
Replacing the great Jordan Harris.
So, yeah, I mean, doing preps tonight, one of the interesting things I was looked at was that the Hills have used more players than anybody so far this season, obviously for a variety of different reasons. They've used 21 players through their season. West Torrens have used 16.
Ground ball. Here is Kaiser. She makes a good play.
Stayed low. So you definitely hope that those young players that have come into the Hills lineup this season just sits back on it. Lana did the right thing there, came in, shuffled in, made sure that she cut that distance down.
Good take from
She
Kaiser.
attacks the ball.
So hopefully, whilst the Hills might not be getting a reward for it right at the moment, by using those more players, they are exposing some youth to what that next step up to Premier League is. And hopefully they gain from that experience and puts them in a better position next year going forward.
That last one from Bridley had a bit of zip on it. Slapped into the glove of Allen. This is Georgia Ballard, fouls that one off.
Yeah, a lot to like about Ridley. As I said, I've only seen her live a couple of times, and it's a fairly effortless motion. She knows what she's doing. She looks comfortable. She sort of looks like she could throw it all day.
Yeah.
So it's not she's not expending a massive amount of energy doing it. So, and she's got her down ball is good.
Good pitch on the outside. And she liked that. She started to break for the dugout.
And not only, is she super impressive, if you just watch the replay of Carly Allen there on that last pitch, she didn't move. Like, Carly set up the spot nice and early, and Harper hit her straight in that glove. Carly didn't move. Same
Foul
again.
ball. She'll stay alive. Ballard, I like Bridley. She's no fast. She doesn't go too far off the back of that play. You see some pitchers like to walk halfway to second base and have a deep breath or whatever and then come back and waste some energy. That's a good shot from Ballard. Was behind the count, fouled one off, stayed alive, and then just ripped one up the middle. So terrific shot from the young catcher. Courtesy runner will come in. Matty Rocha to do the running.
Third hit for the Hills.
So Walkerville jumped the Hills on the weekend, but the Hills kept fighting. You know, they picked up their runs late in the last, so, you know, showing continuous signs here that they're not giving it up.
It's going to be tight for the 4th spot, isn't it? Going to go down the wire.
Shot. Oh, but great reflex catch from Amber Hood. She doesn't panic. She didn't have to get airborne for it. She just puts the glove up just above head height to take a comfortable catch, but she's definitely ripped off Williams for a shot. Let's have a look at the leading team's replay. Middled it.
Middled it. The only thing I would have done different if I was Amber is I just would have spun around at the end. So, no, great piece of fielding. So,
was dancing with the stars for Sophie Hoyle. What a great play at the top of the inning, and that retires the Hills heat. 4 batters, 1 hit to Georgia Ballard, an impressive turn at bat, but another quick defensive inning for the West Torrens Eagles.
Yeah, the message from Coach Christensen and Opolsky over there will be hold. We've just got to try and hold them here and give ourselves another shot. So,
all right, well,
I tell you what, we've talked about it before. You can hit a shot like that was perfectly hit straight to a fielder for a line drive, and then you can miss-hit the ball and get to second. That's what makes this game interesting, I feel.
O'Brien back to the plate for the Hills heat, but I was just going to say, while we've got a moment, there's only one game on tonight, Hills Heat versus West Torrens. No game this Saturday, so we're actually going to take a 10-day break for Spacequake Sports as we go into the race to the finals after that 10-day break. The reason being we've got Junior State Championships. The Hills are hosting this year, and so that'll be this entire weekend. So if you want to see some of the best players in this, junior players in the state playing this weekend in Edmo Park, Littlehampton.
Yeah, I'll be going up to that.
Me
Looking
too.
forward to it.
I'll be there as well.
Good.
Then we will.
Sure about that?
Yeah. I'd part of my role, mate. I come helping when people ask.
I need to see the leave pass.
We also we will return in 10 days' time. So Saturday week, Port Adelaide versus Glenelg, and then the last Wednesday night of the season, 2 weeks away, West Torrens versus Port Adelaide, will be the game that you see right here on Spacequake Sports. And as we were talking earlier, that could be the game that determines second spot.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, West Torrens at the moment, if this result holds, have done the right thing, and they've made that gap a couple of games to Port. So, but still, you know, anything's possible. They've still got stirred again. So.
There's a light just shining through the batter's eye there. So the German Shepherd Club, just some of the patrons there exiting out, just went straight through the batter's eye. Did you see that? So
yeah, I did.
The batter's eye, we call it's like the cricket sight screen.
I think what we need is more sponsors between the MSC Sport and the leading teams. So they'd contact you about that, would they, James?
Yeah, contact Sophie Hoyle. Here's Kelsey Nucky after Hoyle's walk.
We're looking for about 5 by the look of it. So.
Well, that's the batter's eye. It's there for a reason. You can't have a camera there, and we don't want to distract the batter as well. So it's behind the pitcher's arm. That's why we call it the batter's eye. Wow. Naki finds the gap. She's had a walk. She's had a sacrifice fly this time. She just peels off a single out to left field in the karaoke.
Yeah, getting the job done. So being elevated in the order tonight, and that's what you want to see when you make a promotion like that.
Just out of reach of the backhand side of Perez. Hoyle advances to 2.
As Lee would say, as you would say in her wheelhouse, just down that left side.
Tenny Baskai seeing it well tonight. 3 RBI double and a walk for her 2 plate appearances. Dangerous batter to have with runners on base and one of them in scoring position. One field ball.
Yeah, O'Brien's doing a good job here in difficult circumstances. I mean, she's trying to take away, you know, the long ball and just make these hitters work hard. But what's been super impressive about West Torrens tonight is just that discipline at the plate. They've just refused to swing at bad pitches, and they haven't chased. And so, yeah, this is a really positive performance for West Torrens. This is back to what we expected probably from what they were before Christmas. As Basekai goes up the middle, high on the handle, Hoyle comes round, she'll score.
Not a bad throw from Tamke, but Hoyle is in there safely for the 7th run of the game. Back-to-back hits for the Eagles.
Yeah, we just see on the leading team's replay. She's just, caught that high on the handle. Again, that throw coming in from the outfield by the end flight player, just a bit high. So,
first pitch swinging for the new hitter. That's Alicia Marchenk, flies out to centre field.
I think your first time at bat, you'd be wanting to take a couple of pitches, I would have thought.
Yeah, it was a good piece of the ball on the up, but I probably would have had a bit more of a look. So
that's the first out. 1 run has scored in this inning. I just looking down at my sheet of notes. West Torrens hasn't scored more than 10 in a game since round 5. So although they've had a fairly positive and dominant at times season, they haven't been destroying teams.
No.
And tonight they've scored 7. We're in the top of the 4th, and just the 1 out as this one's fly deep out to left field. It'll get to the fence. Nucky will score. Basekai turns 3. She's held up, but it just misses the cutoff. So Carly Allen's RBI double. Timeout called. This will bring up Mary Fuss for her 3rd plate appearance. There's the West Torrens Eagles dugout.
And that's a 10th straight safe hit for West Torrens.
Leading team's replay just sailed over the head of Maddie Rocha.
Yeah, it's just been those little 1%ers, just hitting cutoffs, good throws, just little things like that, which at Premier League level, unfortunately, make a massive difference. So, and that brings Mary Fuss, number 9, but last time started it up with a double and a 2-run RBI, and she's done the same.
She's hammered this. It's a deep shot out to centre right, centre left. Tamke has to chase it down. Allen is going to cross the plate. Fuss will go to 3 on the overthrow. 2-run score from Fuss. She's having a big night. That's her 2nd double. She's got 4 RBIs for the game.
Wow. That's pretty much a mirror image of what she did the last time. Same result. It's a great piece of the ball. So Carly comes around, she rounds and scores. But again, just the relay throws, just not hitting their spots. And so,
yeah, this Young Hills side, there's probably only a few regular starters in this lineup. If you have a look at the starting lineup, probably only 5 of the 9 regular starters. And we'll come back around to the top of the order. The dangerous Amber Hood, she's 3 for 3 tonight.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see who's on the West Torrens bench, if they're going to clear the bench and give some other players any hits.
Kayla Perry, Riley Benedictson. We've already seen the change of Alicia Marchenk.
So Riley's coming in the on deck circle.
She's going to hit for Jackie Bill.
She'll love this.
Yeah, I wouldn't be taking the bat out of Amber Hood's hands under any circumstances. So
out of the zone, the first pitch for a ball. There's Fuss on 3rd base. Oh, she likes that one. She goes to the right side. Fuss will tag up. Ween takes the catch. The great throw to the plate, but Fuss will beat it out. Sacrifice fly to Hood, so her great night continues. Fuss crosses the plate for the first time in this game. That is run number 11 for the Eagles. Leading team's replay of the perfectly executed sacrifice fly to the right side.
Yep. And good base running by Mary Fuss too. So.
And a rare RBI for Amber Hood. Only has 5 for the season up to this point. Here's our new player,
But she's already got
Riley Benedictson.
She's got a sacrifice fly before this as well. So that's a second for the season. So that's impressive from the leadoff.
2 outs.
And brings Benedictson to the plate.
Low for a ball.
Well, good luck to Riley. She sat on the pines, you might say, pretty well all this season. She's plays B grade mainly, but this is good.
This is just her second A grade game of the season and her first plate appearance.
Yep.
Half the work's done. She's using the Eastern Ghost. The best bat on the market, and all the best batters use the Eastern Ghost.
I was watching some of the college ball this week, and you've now got me looking for it, and they're using it too. So,
and you can get the Eastern Ghost from MC Sportswear, Port Road. It's a base on balls for Riley Benedictson, so she'll be happy with that walk. Maybe a little disappointed.
I was about to say, yeah,
one.
she'd be. That's good team batting, but I think she would have rather have had a swing. So, brings the dangerous Lana Kaiser to the plate. I think Lana's due here too. She's had a couple of close shots tonight.
That one right
She's,
down the middle. She's got a little smile on
She's
her
got
face.
her outside, the outside part of her plate's been questionable. So I think anything remotely close is gone.
Gets a piece of this. It does go to the centre right alley, and they're still chasing the ball down as Kaiser turns 2. Here comes the throw as Benedictson crosses the plate. Kaiser stands up at 3. The throw finally gets to the plate, and Lana Kaiser an RBI triple.
Yeah, you could sense she was due, and really good batting. So she did that a couple of weeks ago too against Walkerville. That inside out behind the runner. Great team batting. Lana Kaiser's coming on strong at the right time of the year. So
as I look down, a very interesting stat. That's Kaiser's 5th triple for the season. You don't hit triples unless you're a good hitter. She goes aggressively for home, up by 12, crosses the plate for run number 13, and that empties the bases. So, gee, the Eagles maybe looking for that early night tonight. It's a 10-run mercy after 4. So
yeah.
They're trying to capitalise here. They're 3 outs away from achieving that, but a couple of security runs as well. So might be in for an early night here, gents.
Could be looking that way, but I'm sure Hills will keep battling it out.
Yeah.
Well, we're just on the hour mark. This is the 10th batter of the inning. They had 9 batters last inning. They have scored 10 in the last 2.
Well, both teams came into the week, came off the weekend, both coming off of losses. I mean, West Torrens had that heartbreak loss with the Grand Slam from against
Port Adelaide.
Maslin from Port Adelaide after leading for 6 innings and then go down 4-1.
Yeah,
so,
a couple of mistakes to bring up the dangerous
yeah.
Maslin as well.
So
Filled the bases.
yeah, so I mean, if you want to answer a loss, this has been a pretty good way to do it.
Under it, it's deep. Tamke's been busy at centre field tonight, and she takes
safe.
the catch for the 3rd out. And Hoyle just a little disappointed because she got plenty of it, and it was really the only thing missing from the West Torrens offence tonight. Wasn't it a home run, but just short this time around. We can see Andrew Scott pointing to the dugout. A couple more changes, not sure about that, but well, another 7 runs scored in that inning from the West Torrens Eagles, and they have a commanding 13-run-0 lead, and they're 3 outs away from a very emphatic victory. Whereas on the flip side, let's look at the young Hills Heat side. They need to put on 4 to keep this game going.
A big ask, but you know, as we've said before, sometimes young players, when they come to the plate, they can just meet it on its merit, and funny things happen. But at the moment, the way that Harper's pitching, Carly's calling, the defence is holding up, it would seem unlikely at the moment. But this is an important game for West Torrens in the sense that they needed the win to sort of, again, just opening that gap to Port Adelaide, who are third. So that was one step. Two was obviously coming off of the loss on the weekend in the way that they did. And three, since the Christmas break, not having their usual offensive dominance, and they've found all of those things tonight. So super impressed with the West Torrens Eagles.
That's all there was.
Danny Perez will lead things off the bottom half of the fourth inning. 5 of the last 7 outs for West Torrens were deep fly balls to the outfield as well, to go along with the massive 13 runs that they've put on tonight. Perez goes to the backhand side of Hood. She's had a terrific night, bat and in the field.
Just amazing. So, backhand, hard way to field anyway, but, just the range that she's got. She stays low, just does everything right.
Leading team's replay sees how hard that ball was hit. Perez wasn't even in the shot when we could see Hood throw that ball across from the backhand side. Chloe Zackley now up to bat.
I tell you what, we talk about Maddie Cameron being in the Olympic team. She should, I'd send the Hood girl too, just quietly. We could have used her. So.
Another chance for Hood. She reads it well on the right side. Just eases it across for Nucky for out number 2. 6 plays she's had in the field tonight. Amber Hood, 3 for 3, a sacrifice fly. She's been everywhere tonight, hasn't she?
Yeah, I mean, Mary Foster's had a good night. It's been, but I don't know if we're talking about best players yet, but she's got my 3 votes so far. So Bashkai's had some good shots.
Allen 2 for 3. She's called a beauty behind the plate.
Kelsey's had a couple of shots as well.
Yeah, Baskai 2 for 2 and a walk. We might get to the player of the game post-game just so we can pad it out a little bit more for all those viewers watching at home. Very special thanks to our broadcast partners, NITV. And there we have it. That is the third out. 1, 2, 3 inning for Harper Bridley and the West Torrens Eagles, just to put an exclamation mark on that game. 13 runs to nil. And we can digest this a little bit here, guys, as we have a look at the Eagles celebrating their big 4-inning win in just 68 minutes of work. Well, let's quickly talk the ladder. What does that mean? Well, West Torrens go to 30 points and just 1 game behind Sturt. They'll face off in a few weeks' time. So West Torrens keeping their top 2 aspirations alive. Yes,
they've got 4 games left to go. Obviously, they're now 2 games clear of third, and they play Port Adelaide once. So they've just made the battle for second super hard.
Their runs against 47 compared to Sturt 53 compared to Port Adelaide 85. So they do have the superior runs against. That is the tiebreaker should points be tied come the end of the season. And just for the runs for, 112 for the season. Port Adelaide, 112 in 21 games, same amount of games as West Torrens. Sturt, 21 games played, 122. So 10 extra runs over the 21 games for Sturt. Now, flip side of that, 3rd and 4th, Walkerville had that impressive win over the Hills Heat on the weekend to leapfrog into 4th place on 18 points. Hills Heat on 17. They go down tonight with a 13 to 0 loss. The runs against don't really matter because Hills have got that superior runs against, but the reason why the runs against don't matter is because they're only 1 point apart there, the 2 sides.
Yeah, Hills have, I mean, they've done it tough since Christmas. I mean, the reality is they haven't won a game since Christmas. They drew that game against Glenelg, and that's been the only point that they've picked up since. So and their draw isn't necessarily super favourable on the way home because they get Sturt twice. They do get Glenelg in the middle, but Glenelg since Christmas have been, super impressive in bout. They've been a difficult team to put away, and so that game by no means is a certainty. So they've got 3 tough games coming up, and they're in a tough spot. Walkerville got a game left, but they also play West Torrens
Twice.
So
and Port Adelaide once. So Walkerville, to earn their spot in the finals, has to beat a top 3 side. You'd think with the Hills Heat, they've got to beat a top side.
Yep.
To make the finals. So the run home to the finals is going to be super tight. The top 3 still up for grabs. 4th and 5th also there. Now, player of the game, I can see you scribbling away crazily over there, Lee. Who have you got for our best performer?
Well, you could probably toss a coin up in the air with 4 or 5 of them. You've touched on Mary Fuss, the best I've seen her bat.
Yeah. Amber Hood was definitely my vote. So.
And how good is she at second base, Amber Hood? I mean, you've got a quality catcher like Carly Allen, so that leaves you at second base. And when Steph comes back and pitches, a lot of balls will go to second base.
Yeah.
And you need somebody there that can really play.
Well,
Amber Hood can do that.
Yeah. Well, the last time Amber Hood caught for West Torrens, it was against Walkerville 2 weeks ago, and Steph threw 13 strikeouts. So she can not only, she's not only great technically behind the plate, she's obviously smart behind the plate as well. So
huge utility player she would be. She could play in the outfield.
Yep.
We've seen her play at shortstop for Hills. We've seen her catch. To me, that is the best West Torrens infield, in my opinion. Notwithstanding Steph.
Baskai, 4 RBIs, Fuss, 4 RBIs. They
Best
were
I've seen her bat.
2 leaders between the 2 of them. They got 4 hits and a walk. But let's not take... Oh, and then we threw up Amber Hood's name, 3 for 3, sacrifice fly with an RBI as well, plus her plays in the field. But let's not take anything away from Harper Bridley, 4 innings of work. Only went through the lineup 1.5 times, 3 hits, no walks, no runs. Brilliant game.
You can't do any more than that. Well done to the young player.
And the young Bill girl last week, when Sturt and West Torrens both put on different pitches other than their aces, Bill did a great job, but you could see against a quality hitting lineup how difficult that was. So you can imagine that tonight, with Hills so much to play for, that situation could have been, somewhat different. But so to have Harper come down and do a shutdown job like that, with the defence that she had behind her tonight, like Hoyle's great play at third with the spin, Hood's a magnet at second.
That's what confidence does.
All right. Well, that'll just about wrap it up for us here tonight. An early night for us all as we take a 10-day break. So to Brandon and the team at Space Quake Sports and David, enjoy your 10-day break because, well, everyone who's watching at home, get ready, get excited. The race to the finals is just around the corner. And then we'll bring you every finals game live right here on Space Quake Sports. So for James Harris, Lee Hull, Anthony Weatherstone, we will call it a night, but it was West Torrens Eagles dominant, 13-0 over the Hills Heat.
Yeah, thanks James, thanks Lee, and good night everybody.
Yeah, good night everyone.